Okay, so I'm back, and I've decided that part of my healing, part of my just new spiritual journey is that I'm going to start doing videos whenever I need God, whenever I need to feel happier, and whenever I feel like it. Because the reality is that, as I mentioned before, I believe our main purpose on earth is to exchange love, which is energy, which is God, or exchange energy, which is love, which is God, and not to basically trust in the Lord with all your heart and not lean on your own understanding, but on God. And to basically realize that, it's so true that in every aspect of our life, if we look at our life like training for a marathon, like if we want to be making a ton of money and never have to worry about bouncing any checks, or being able to have plenty of money in the bank and go on vacations and pay for our kids' colleges and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's sort of like training for a marathon. If a person hasn't been exercising and working out, once they begin to train, they will have moments and days where their muscles are sore and they might not feel like running the next day because their muscles are sore. But then as they get back into the groove and they start a steady, consistent pattern of working out, then their body will become conditioned, their muscles will become stronger, and running will feel like second nature, and they will be able to run further distances, and it will feel like less effort. Just like making money, for example, a salesperson who builds up a pipeline. If anybody isn't familiar with sales, a pipeline is when you have a list of prospects and you begin working on that list by calling them and sending emails, and then you end up with a pipeline of people who could possibly be interested, might reply back to you while you're replying to someone new because they finally read your email, or that you sent them enough emails that one of them sparked their interest, and so forth. And a pipeline can also include referrals. So anyhow, and that's kind of like how it is. So in any aspect of your life, uh, again, I'll use the same metaphor where I believe just like preparing for a marathon and building muscles in each area of our life, so we have cups of water for each areas of our life. And so right now, like the times that I need God is when I feel like perhaps a certain area of my life I'm going through those, pains, like the sore muscles, and and they say that if God puts a desire in your heart, then he will give you what you want. Like, for example, I want to be married. I want to have children. I want to have certain things. And if he places that desire in my heart, then that means I will get it. But there are things, obviously, probably different parts of my muscles in the relationship area that I need to build on. And I know what some of those are. If you've been listening to any of my other videos, this is my third video so far, and being an abandoned baby and estranged from my adopted family, without a mother figure in my life, I've had my insecurities about how, the process of getting pregnant and not having a mom there to call and be like, well, what happens here? What happens there? And then with time, I've let go and realized that there are people now that I know in my life who have children who I could ask questions to. There's also a prayer line. For people that are feeling alone and want to stay anonymous, there are plenty of prayer lines that are free. I love the one I want to say, when I find actually what I'll do is I will leave the phone number of some of the prayer lines that I call that are anonymous, that people can call when they're feeling down and they just want someone that will listen to them. Some of the prayer lines, the people will sit there and tell you, well, God knows all the details of your life and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, we're human beings. We still want, if we feel like nobody in our life really cares about us, we still want to feel like someone has heard our story and cares about us. So regardless of whether God knows all the details of our life, we're still social beings. So be prepared, because some prayer lines will only want to hear certain things, and they'll just want to go ahead and pray. But for the most part, I've found pretty understanding people that will listen and pray for me. So it's really nice. And I'll leave the phone numbers in the description for anyone who's just wants to, make some prayer calls, even if it's for other people. Prayers are very powerful. Over time, I've really discovered how powerful they are, because, for example, I'd been praying for the longest time for work from home jobs, and I finally got them. And I've also been praying forever, it feels like, for the man of my dreams. And I feel like God's been showing me glimpses of the man of my dreams, and I do know that, as they say, we are reflections. The world we're living right now is a reflection of who we are. So I guess that means that, I'm still working on the relationship portion of my life, but I'm still trying to trust in the Lord, or still doing my best to trust in the Lord. I also have, I truly do believe that when we're feeling our worst, if we have God in our heart, and if we truly, our intentions are really good, because at the end of the day, the Bible does say a third of mankind will be wiped out. That is a premonition, or a prediction. Premonition? Anyhow, you know what I'm saying. And basically, if if someone has good intentions in their heart, God will save that person. He saves everyone that he believes truly loves him, which means that, when he says he'll save the brokenhearted, and he'll save the weak and the sick, and he saves the people whose intentions are good. And he turns any darkness in your life into light, because he truly wants us all to feel the love that he has to offer. And I know, like, right now, part of the reason why I'm even doing this video right now is because I was feeling really, really upset about the fact that, there was someone I was liking a lot, and then I made a few mistakes because, like I said, I don't have any family members. I don't have a mom or a dad to call and be like, hey, what do I do in this situation? Should I talk to him? Should I call him? Should I just give him space? This and that. And that's been very difficult because, for example, I have a friend who's told me that her mom calls her like 5 times a day, and she has so much support. And for me, it's like I have to watch YouTube videos and read articles just to get advice from people to figure out, how to move forward if I'm feeling like I don't have the answers. And yes, I know we're supposed to go to God as well, but sometimes it's difficult to know what God wants us to do, because when we're upset, our mind isn't quieted. When our mind's quieted and calm and peaceful, it's much easier to know what God wants us to do, or what God is saying to us to make us feel better. But even when he's there, if we're upset about something, we're still human beings. Like, we still cry, like babies, even when babies are hungry, they cry. Any feeling of discomfort, we have feelings. So anyhow, part of the reason, I'm making these videos for myself. I'm making them for people who feel alone and are maybe going through the same things I'm going through, or have similar feelings, and they just don't know how to get that feeling of upsetness out when there's no one around, and they've turned to God, and they still feel like they need someone just that cares. And that's part of the reason why I'm making these videos. And I'm making these videos because it helps me feel like I'm able to also put a positive message out about hope, and also it helps reinforce my faith in God, and hopefully reinforces other Christians' faith in God. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm certain I'll be making another one very soon. God bless you all and take care.